Thank you very much, Program Director. But angilithandi igama lika Helen. Ntombi would have worked better. Akithi ngintombi. Nasesikoleni babengangibizi ngoHelen. Babethi igama lama-Christian, I'm a Christian, but I don't know what is Christian about that name. But on a serious note, let me take this opportunity to thank our Program Director, Honorable Chair of Papa, who is the chair of, Sizengayela, then Honorable Koza, my sister and a friend, and all other colleagues, especially Holikan. We know we are going to touch the kind of issues that confront our society on a daily basis. But what is good is that if we have men abaring Holikan, Segwanele, it's even more powerful. Because Tina, most of the time when you talk about GBV, it's like it's known. But also let me acknowledge our colleagues from the Office of the Mayor and our colleague from the Independent Electoral Commission, including all young people and the staff from GPL. The purpose of today is to actually engage with young people of Gauteng. And I assume that people who are here are from the Sedibeng region only, because we also have other engagements in other regions in our province. But these engagements will be ongoing, not only in this fashion, but also we visit the schools, we talk to different young people. Because we are in the month of March, which is the Human Rights Month. And being the Human Rights Month, one of the things that we should all know about is that on the 29th of May, we'll be casting our ballots. It's voting. And the voting process therefore becomes one of the rights that are enshrined in the Constitution. But then how then do you begin to vote? I recall with my very first vote that I did, not in 1994, but it was in 1991, when my organization was having its first national conference in the country after the unbanning. I know how I felt, because I can't try to vote as Prime Minister and everywhere else. But for the first time, we're doing it, secret ballot. And it was so challenging. Therefore, nothing will stop me to think that it will be easy for all of us. But we are also informed by the IEC that this time around, there are many, many other political parties that want to contest elections. Firstly, they are still in the database, but some of them will be registering to contest the elections. So TINA as the legislative sector, but also as institutions that will be put into governance or even into, when you vote, because those structures will still remain there because of the democracy that many people fought for and died for. So the purpose really is to engage about those issues, to talk about the GBV that is engulfing our province, but also our country, but also hear from the Independent Electoral Commission as to why these elections are different from the others. I also do voter education, but it's not my turn today. But where you will live, because remember I do it every day, I'm called by churches to come and talk about these issues. Where I feel we might, because at times you'll find where now we are reaching out to a specific need, but I will find that there will be things that are left out. So basically that is why we're here, but also to allow you an opportunity to also ask questions, but also don't just ask questions, but to also provide solutions in terms of issues that will take our country forward. With those few words, thank you very much. Ukansela sekashilo ukuthi we are all, yabona sengingaphapha phela mina ngiyayiphaphela ne. Ukansela ushilo ukuthi sesingaphapha, but ngenhlonipho, not to papa in a way that will actually annoy those that want to listen and want to gain something, but also not annoy those that might want to actually propose good things in terms of things that needs to be done. But let me also do my observation. Program Director, when you were saying we should actually sing the national anthem, you instructed us to stand up, and you instructed our males that are here to take off their hats. But I observed that some of us were still moving around when we started singing. Some of us were still wearing our hats, which is very much not a good sign of why we should actually respect ourselves, but also respect the instructions that are given. In fact, I would have loved the African Union national anthem, but unfortunately, it might not have been thought about before this day, because as Africans, we need to be part of the African Union deliberations and so forth. We are because we are Africans. Thank you very much.
All right. No, thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I think we can do better, ne? Youth, we can do better. Can we give her a round of applause? All right. And then another round of appreciation, I think, let's give it to our councillor, because she welcomed us, but we did not even acknowledge through clapping our hands to appreciate. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are moving along with our program. We now going to call our rep from IEC. Unfortunately, I did not get the name, so please bear with me. IEC, we're going to allow them to talk to us. As Madam Speaker would have indicated that we will be going for the national elections very soon. So as such, every opportunity that we get, IEC is our partner as we implement various activities of the legislature. So because it is our partner and this is the right time for them to engage with us, the youth, in terms of the expectations, the right to vote and all that. So let me not take his words and rather hand over to him so that he can take the opportunity to engage with us.
Thank you very much. Lebitso la ka ke nna France Ntshwereng, not Paris, but France. Ke a leboha he, e re ke nke monyetla ona ke dumedise le nna letsatsing lena la kajeko. And Program Director, ke a leboha. Honorable Speaker from the Legislature, Mama Siabonga. Councillor Koza, thank you very much. Allow me then to say protocol observed. But I am then engaging with young people, and I wouldn't want therefore to be so formal. But I want to engage with young people using the language that young people understand. Are we together? Elelizwe hilabantu abasha asoze laphela mandla
Laphela mandla
elelizwe elabantu abasha asoze laphela mandla
asoze laphela mandla
asoze laphela mandla asoze laphela mandla
asoze laphela mandla
asoze laphela mandla asoze laphela mandla
asoze laphela
mandla awethu. As Africans, when there is birth, we sing. When there is death, we sing. When we commemorate and celebrate, we sing. It will be ungodly, un-African, un-Ubuntu. Therefore, for me to start without any, we are celebrating human rights, and we are therefore saying to South Africans, let us be alive. This is the perfect time for us to be alive. Amandla! If you now want to exercise that power, re kgone ho bona hore ka nnete matla ke a hao. As IEC, we encourage you. As IEC, we encourage you to go and cast your vote. Yaka ha itlo ba telele hakalo letsatsing la kajeno. Fela ke ne ke re ke nke nako yena hantle metsotsong ena ye ka bang e 30 ka mora hora ena ya 10 exactly 34 minutes after the hour 11 o'clock ku qhaqhollele taba yena. What is the IEC? Jalo ka ha re tseba nakong e fetileng le dilemong tse fetileng, IEC mosebetsi wa yona ke ho etsa bonnete ba hore it deliver dikgetho tse lokolohileng tse senang leeme, free and fair elections. This time around we will then be celebrating 30 years in democracy. And as the commission, we are saying to you South Africans, it is your democracy, own it. And then how then do you own it? Ke a kopa o hopole hore nakong ena e re tlang ho yona ke nako yane re se re bua ka di special vote. So as an IEC we have outreach department, and as an outreach coordinator mosebetsi wa ka gore le nna ke fitlhelle Madam Speaker, fitlhelle ho the communities, the churches, and to South Africans at large to encourage you to go out and vote. But before we do that, it is our responsibility to educate you. For the first time in the history of South Africa, young people, particularly first-time voters, we will now be having 3 ballot papers. But before I get to that, step by step, the timetable, the Electoral Commission. Right now, as we speak, should it happen that you did not update your details as a voter, let me make an example. On a udula ko Pretoria, and you are now in Everton, or you are now in Gauteng South for that matter, anywhere, but you did not get the chance to update your details during the registration weekend. However, we have what we call Section 24A. What is Section 24A? Re kopa hore o re jwetse ka nako hore nna ke ne ke dula Soweto, ke ne ke dula ko Ekurhuleni, ke ne ke dula ko Pretoria, but I am now in the south. Ke tla be ke votela AME as the station. You now have to apply, notify us on time. Why? So that by the time you get there, I can really be told on the voters roll. Yeah, AME go Everton. But we're saying because we are on the national and provincial elections, you will also get a chance to vote. However, let us know on time. Revisa Section 24A. Once we the application he when I'm ready. Otabe o re dumella jwalo ka commission ho hlophiselletse an example o khona thola di ballot paper. Previously we encountered the challenges whereby batho bane ba khona ho tlowa where they used to be ba se bale to this area ha fitla re because ke national and provincial elections, let me just walk into the nearby station ha fitla hobane voters rolling lebitso la hale o bothola re ballot paper ha eyo aba re IEC in a prepared enough. So to avoid all of that, we now revised the Section 24A. Is it clear? So if you did not, again I emphasize it is important, if you did not get the chance to update your details, especially the address, ka registration weekend, re a kopa hona jwale the application for Section 24A di buletswe. Siacela bonke hore le apply. The second activity, which is key, special vote. Who can apply for special vote? The commission encourages the elderly, abogogo nabomkhulu, those living with disabilities, heavily pregnant women, and essential workers. Hore le bona ha ba ke ba ye, ba apply for special vote. For special vote, you have 2 categories. You have the home visit, where the officials can visit your place, batlo votisa haye mo dulang teng ka tlung. So batho ba batjha re a kopa le tseba hore bonkgono ba teng haye, le tseba hore those living with disability ba teng haye, wa ba tseba ba teng, re a kopa hore when the special vote di bulelwa re kopa hore le ba hopotse buy online or visit the nearby IEC office. Everton Mafatani, IEC office essentially operational, fully operational. Jwale re a kopa he. O bohlokwa haholo molaetsa bo. The second category ya di special vote ke hona man mo reng o kgona ho ya stationing. Mind you that special votes are always 2 days before the elections. The elections will be then, as the Madam Speaker indicated, on the 29th of May 2024. Moving to the next activity, particularly for the first-time voters. When you get to the station, you will then be eligible for 3 ballot papers. The ballot paper for the national, and this is for the political parties. The ballot paper for the provincial, also for the political parties. And the third ballot paper for both independent and for the provincial. The independent, ke bana ba re reng, ha se mekgatlo ya dipolitiki, empa ke bo nkgetheng ba ikemetseng. An example, if we were to get, I'm just making an example here, Ntate Patrice Motsepe to say, le nna ke se ke le an independent candidate. Ntate Patrice Motsepe le ena o tla kena. Re a tseba at the moment, Ntate Patrice, for all we know, we don't know Ubilonga from which part. So can I get a fela independent candidates? These are the candidates that are not that they don't belong into the political parties. So re a kopa he o tla thola di ballot paper tseo tse tharo. E re ke fetele pele he ke kgone go khutlela morao. As a voter, how to write the ballot paper tse tharo? You stand a chance to get up to 2 more. In total, it will be 3 ballot papers. What do I mean? Please do not confuse the national, the provincial, and for the independent. But I'm saying, should you then make a mistake, or I did not mean to vote for this candidate, you get the chance to get the second ballot paper and the third ballot paper. So I am just trying to emphasize this. As much as somebody says it is simple, we know, but for the first-time voters, that might not be the case. And we do not want to deal with spoiled ballot papers. So for more information, Kiyama Fatani, the old police station, Kamoka post office, just next door Yasasa, the office is there, fully functional, Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, Reasebeza. Jwale he ntho re le kopang yona ke hore tswe applying for section 24A, especially how sa khona ho update the details tsa hao. If you are the first time voter, you are not on the voters roll, you did not get the chance to update your details, ka bo madimabe voters roll e kwetswe, re tla o bona ka 2026. However, ska kgathatse o ka hla ha di kwalo ha di bulelo hape o bo sontso apply. Ke kopa ho phethela ka mantswana he. Jwalo ka re keteka ditokelo tsa botho in March, particularly Val e hlonolofetse haholo. Re a kopa ha re tsweng ka magalo ka bongata ba rona re tsamaeng re lo vote. Ho votela mokgatlo ofeng eo ha esale ya IEC. IEC yo kgothaletsa hore tsa mo bala di manifesto o bala o tsebe hore ba reng. And then what do you do as an active citizen after casting your vote? Ha e felle mo hona le ntho tse bitswang di IDP, Integrated Development Plan. Please engage your officers. It is their responsibilities hore ba engage, and your responsibility too to learn. Do you know your ward councillor? Do you know ward councillor how do you like? Do you know the duties of the ward councillor? Please do not confuse the RDP for the local government. RDP ha itse local government. Wa ibona ntwe jwalo? Ke batla phethela ka mantswana reng Bible re setjhaba sa ka se atimela go hloka tsebo. Ne? So o ske wa timela he go hloka tsebo. Ke a leboha ho tswa ho nna o ya ho wena o fitela re kopana hape na kong e tlang. IEC mafatsane e teng ha ibo batla dintlha tsohle tse felletseng a go ikagele ka mong. Ka di 21 tsa March re tla be re le Shavili. We are commemorating, we're not celebrating. People lost their lives, there is nothing to celebrate. We are commemorating. And jwalo ka tokelo ya hao etsa ntho e nepahetseng o vote. Ke a leboha. Thank you.
No, thank you very much for that information that you just shared with us. And I believe that our youth here would have learned a lot from your presentation, and that we will all do what is right by us to ensure that on that day, all of us, and we also inform our communities that we live within about their rights to vote. We are agreeing on that, ne? So all of us seated here, I believe that we are all above 18 years of age, ne? Are we? All right. Can I ask a question? Are we all registered to vote? No. Okay. During the break, please meet with IEC, explain your reasons why you could not register to vote. But unfortunately for those, from what I would pick is that those that have not yet registered to vote, se le tla re joina ka 2026, because you had an opportunity to register when you turn 16, so that your details are already on the system sa IEC, so that by the time when you turn 18, now because you are now eligible to vote, you don't have any challenges. Unfortunately for those, but for those that manage to do the right thing, ba registera, do the right thing on the 29th, ne? 29th of May. All right, we move along with our program. As indicated, we said that we will try to work within the pace ya youth. I agree youth ke batho ba ileng gore ba batla ba le fast. You don't want to sit for the whole day. You want to be, youthful and do things in a more efficient way, ne? All right, now I'm going to hand over to Ms. Dineo Nkomo, who is a researcher from the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. She's going to outline the approach in terms of the engagements that we're going to have with our participants. So let me hand over to Ms. Dineo Nkomo.
Hola, hola, hola. Dinsa. I didn't say, oh, yeah, I could I can hear a bit of noise in Yanane. I think you are ready for engagements, ne? Because we've been talking for too long, I get. My name is Dineo Nkomo. I work together with the colleagues back Gauteng Legislature. I'm one of the researchers. Ke santsane ke utla rao ko modimo ko morago ko. Other company, I get. And then I'm also going to give opportunity to our panel in front of us, so that we can start engaging and talking about the preparations that you've done, and why we are here. As they've already explained, the Gauteng Legislature, one of the key mandates is public participation. Ne? That's the core of one of the important responsibilities as part of the state. We have to make sure that we involve people so they participate in democracy. We understand, okay? So therefore, even though we're talking about civic education, it's part and parcel of that, ne? I'm still hearing noise. The thing is, I remember Kale, ne? We used to like to say, you'll see my name on print in black and white. Now we have digital print, okay? Digital print, social media. This is going to be broadcasted on the channel and page, yeah, Gauteng Legislature, ne? On YouTube Live, as well as, I think, Facebook. I'm not sure, but definitely YouTube, ne? So please, just know, as you're engaging, you'll be appearing, and your peers, as we engage today, and then automatically it gets saved on the page, yeah, Gauteng Legislature, ne? So you'll be able to see it as well, how liko high, all right, so I'm not going to take long. I just want to outline why we are here, as well as how we're going to engage, ne? Between ourselves as well as the panel. It's not between me and you, but now I'm just here to facilitate the program. You already have been prepared through the public participation, Abuti Prinsi, on this program. The overall theme is to vote or not to vote. In South Africa, in our democracy, you have a choice. not all democracies are the same. Ne? You are not forced to, but you're encouraged to. We are here as part of the institution of the state. The state, I'm talking about government, I'm talking about parliament and legislatures, as well as judicial and the courts. Ne? We are here because of people being able to cast their votes. So civic education is an important part of that. And obviously, you know, young South Africans are the majority in our country. I guess you are aware of that. So if you also in your mind just start thinking of yourself in that manner, you are the youth majority. You are not few in number. You're actually more in number, including Gauteng. Ne? So your choices that you make actually steer where our democracy is going. That's why you're seeing a lot of political parties. We're not here as a political party. We are a multi-party institution. You know that in your political organizations or in the youth formations, they talk a lot about, listen, we need to be involved more in our democracy because politics affects every single part of your life. Whether you'll eat or not, whether you'll be able to go to school or not, you know, how your life will turn out. Ne? And as we know, young people, there are three main categories study challenges in South Africa. Ne? It doesn't mean that these are the only ones, they're just the ones that cause or they steer the other problems that we have in South Africa. What are the three categories of problems in South Africa? Unemployment, true, poverty, and inequalities. Ne? All the other problems, they fall under that. They are steered by these problems. So we're here to say, how is it possible then that as young people, there's a general feeling that you're not included in programs that will largely affect you to be able to deal with those problems. Ne? And then the second thing, a lot of the times, the experts, the analysts, the experts who talk about issues for young people, they like to say, you are a ticking time bomb. You've heard that phrase, ne? You are a ticking time bomb. We're ticking, frustrated. Only certain things that you are raising, you feel either you're not being heard or they're not being implemented the way that you'd like to see them being implemented, but there are others who say, no, there's a potential. There's a dividend. We can actually use the potential that you have to make sure that we change our country. Ne? I get all of them fall under the theme of to vote or not to vote, because we're saying all those things, they affect your choices, whether you will vote or not. And then at the end, as our Madam Speaker has indicated, we need to talk about possible solutions. Some people are saying, no, we need to be entrepreneurs, capitalists, we want to make money. I get, but also there are certain programs, the social entrepreneurship, you are, let me make an example of social entrepreneurship, that the focus is not just to make money, so you're able to eat profit, but also you're solving certain problems that we have. For example, we know our, collecting the garbage, the recyclable. You can have a company that says, okay, out of those recyclables, as a business person, I want to create bags out of that. So you're solving the chila rubbish, but you're also creating another solution and also making profit out of that. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about in general. I just wanted to outline that so that people at home who are on YouTube are able to know discussions that they are going. So we have here our panel. Eriki, let me come this side. I just want to give an opportunity to our panel. Our IEC representative has already spoken. And then if we can please introduce ourselves. I understand as well that we have other youth organizations or youth formations that will also be part of these engagements. Introduce yourselves and then tell us how is it that you're involved in the lives of young people. And if you can also touch on those issues that I've spoken to, but then we'll have to take engagements, so we shouldn't take too long, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, each of you, and then we will engage with our youth. Ne? You can stand, please, yeah. Thank you.
Tam tomushaeta. Tam tomushaeta. Next. All right. Ke mcheso ne heat wave ena e ngata. Nna ka lebitso ke Busisiwe wa ha Pukwana. I think most of you may know me. I've been around the area. And ke eme mona representing the Sedibeng District Municipality. I'm the youth programs manager in the office of the executive mayor, Melerato Maloka. But more actively, I'm a youth activist. I am glad, Ausintombi, the Honorable, to say I am a product of this institution, Yahao, and the processes of the Gauteng legislature, because I participated then from a very tender age in the forums that you guys create through Bontate Prince and the colleagues. And that's how I've gotten to where I am. In the main, what we do in the office is youth development at large. But given the prelude that you have just spoken to, Sedibeng is a very youthful region. Number one, we have young people who are educated, skilled, anxious, and ambitious. But the biggest problem is that industry is not taking the issues of young people of Sedibeng seriously. There is not enough opportunities for young people of Sedibeng, especially in the private sector. And that has created a sense of, I would want to call it entitlement of young people, and you would see in a lot of platforms, in NGOs, in protests, and where young people have begun to think that the only employer that exists is government. So, and it is because of that misinformation that then young people want to work maspally, because the private sector is not being so much involved in the development of young people, and actually pulled themselves into partnering with government in assisting young people. With that being said, through the office, we have been trying to assist the skills gap, the entrepreneurial gap, and one of the ways in which we have done that is that recently the executive mayor and the MM in Sedibeng, through the initiative of the youth office, we have come to a partnership with a company called Empower Works Pty Ltd. Hakisho if Bachakamona but there is a week expo for the past 3 years that's been taking place at Orange Farm, where young people are presented with opportunities coming to funding their businesses. They are presented with opportunities for developing their skills, for getting employment opportunities, and. So it's basically an expose of people with expertise and connections from the private sector and the public sector. That very event is now going to be taking place in Sedibeng for the next 3 years. What that then translates to, it means when as a young person of Sedibeng, you are going to have access to all those speakers, to all those high-level motivators, to all those grant funding opportunities, to all that incubation in your doorstep. Because we're going to be hosting the Expo Kosol dates from the 22nd of April, that whole week. So it's a week long. It's 22nd to the 26th of April. So it goes to show there is an appetite to see the problem of unemployment and the lack of skills development, the gap bridged in Sedibeng. And that is what the current government is doing in the region. Second to that, when it comes again to unemployment, I am glad to speak of the initiatives that the government here, especially local government, that we're doing. Just last week, we had the MEC of Kokta and e-government, Mzikumalo, together with the CEO of the public sector, CETA, on training and education. Grant 20 young people from Mfuleni a learnership opportunity
in new venture creation. So 20 young people just last week, Thursday, signed a 12-month contract where they will also now speaking to the social entrepreneurship part of things and the poverty, how government is trying to address that. They're going to get a stipend of 4,500 rand in that 12 months and also be accumulating skills that they can use beyond that 12 months. So our government is trying to bridge the gap. And also in our office, just last week as well, we're running a mayoral skills development program where we took on 140 young people. I'm sure a lot of you saw on social media and some of you little lady officing like submitted the application Luna for the learnership food and beverage SETA, where those 140 young people are going to be given a stipend of 3,500, but more importantly, they are going to be skilled and empowered within the services sector. So our government is doing something. Now the ball is literally in our court as young people to say, what do we do? What is our reaction as young people? Because there's a youth engagement that's going to take place. There is a norm, Sedibeng, where young people would say, and you then wonder to say, how after that, right? Instead of saying, how will me sitting in that room, sharing that information with those people assist me in empowering myself? So empowerment is very important for young people. Yes, these opportunities can be presented to us. Uka invite ubodula monana, umamele panele, hube mnati ufuwe dijo, but how khutle lahai utwering? And how is it that what you were sitting here for going to transform your livelihood, your everyday life? We understand. So one of the biggest things that we're trying to do as an office is to say, let's have an active youth. How do we an active youth? Young people need to learn the spirit of volunteerism. Volunteer. And yes, we understand sinating, right? Mara over and above the when you present yourself to an opportunity through volunteerism, you are displaying to the next person what is it that you can offer before they can offer you back, right? Fana no muyoshela umuntu, angisho mjita, uyambheka ukuthi kahle kahle ugela ungiphatheleni. Angisho. No gela uyabheka ukuthi lo uzokhona ukungibheja yini. Isicamtho sikhona yini. If lezo zinto zingekho, then you are not going to engage with the person. The same thing with your ambitions, with you seeking employment. There is no employer that's going to try and employ you if you are unemployable. Which we coming to one of the biggest problems that we're facing in this country, Mentombi. Our young people are unemployable because we have gone into fly-by-night institutions, matriculated with 30%, and we think it's okay. We are performing at our mediocre as young people. And we expect to how pass a matric at 30%, utamaya, uya outside, uto accept to a university. University have a king, ibitwa mam, met literacy. How no it's a course as ras when se met literacy? And how say it's a course as ras? How no baliminyeta is serious lifing? It means how no hona we advance life in your house. So it's about time as young people we empower ourselves. And there are many opportunities that are being presented by this government of ours to say, young people, get off your behinds and take up opportunities. Just last week we were in Zone 12. MEC Matube Chulwani had a youth expo there, where we were presenting young people with opportunities on how to empower themselves. One of those opportunities was the second chance bursary scheme, right? Where if you know you have failed matric or there were challenges in your life. Sometimes a weekend I get abafana mawumuntu sis bese uyabitha bese usakhona ukubuyela esikolweni, then you decide I give up on school. There is an opportunity to go and reclaim your life You go into a center, a second chance center, and you can rewrite your matric and become whatever that you want to become. A quick one, I don't know if I'll be out of order. I want to share a short story, Mama. I'm a young person myself. Second to that, a resident of Sedibeng. Third to that, I am fortunate ukuthi ngendile. La ngende khona umamazala wami unurse. And when I got there, I found sisintom ukuthi umamazala unurse, and I didn't understand kanjani. And when I found out, umamazala wami only did her matric after she had 3 kids. It means she was a full adult when she wrote her matric, when she enrolled at college to become what she is. So to me, it says, if Motamuhul, analyzing 40-something, 50 years, can decide, Hori, I want to change my life, I want to do better for me, I don't want to be dependent on my kids, I don't want to be dependent on a grant, yeah, 350, 550, yaba, nakapa, whichever it is. Then who are we as young people? Because Runa, we still have mileage. If you are still young, it means unkulunkulu sakphile ingqondo, ukuphila umzimba uphelele, uyakunika amathuba ngohulumeni okuthandayo kwenzela amathuba. So why ungawathathi? Instead of sitting ekhoneni sidiscuss ukuthi siyophuzana weekend eBK kuzabani ende umuphi umfana engizohamba naye. Makaqeda ukuhamba nawo umfana Monday ekseni uyavuka uyahamba eofficeini because kumele ayosebenza azobhadala le GT ayakulande ngayo. Nale impahla sigqokile. When uyosebenzana, yebo uzoba usisi ube muhle for isikhashana esithizeni, but kunalento ekuthiwa expiration date, whether we like it or not. Uzo pick up wena namhlanje, next week uyo pick up omunye ohotter on a tinier figure. And the sad part ukuthi ifuture yakhe yo destroy the same way. And the sad norm is that even our boys have fallen into the same trap. Because our young men now, liluna girle batla di sugar mom. Atlo regular airtime, atlo regular data and. So wabana dintote aus dino buang katsona. That unemployment, the poverty and the issues. Nakong reipileta tsona. So we're here to say to you as young people, let's find ways. Today I can discussing or retswa jwang kule yondlela. Ngala magama ngiyabonga.
No, ra leboha. I know. I get to sing ane. Ke Eda, our second panelist. Erike Mulat. Yeah, please, if you can introduce yourselves.
Dumelang. Legai. All right. My name is Bitumelo Tevin Mainganya, also known as Gaddafi the poet. I'm a writer and I'm a performer. I'm an artist. But today I'm not here to talk about that. I'm an ambassador of gender-based violence and femicide under a campaign called Kholekane. So it's not an organization, it's a campaign that each and everyone can be part of. But before I could even start talking about Kholekane, I think it would be fair enough to say the speaker and the councillor, thank you very much for also awarding us this opportunity to come and share with the young people. As young as I am, I must say that it's, as the speakers were speaking, there were a couple of things that I noted down. One of them, which is they said, information and knowledge is power, right? I will tell you that most of my friends that I meet, they will tell me that, yeah, but akaya skolong, how am I going to, beat the unemployment scourge? But I always say, look, myself, I've got an honors in information science from the University of Limpopo, but I'm still unemployed. But now the question is, did I sit down with that information? No. What I did was that I looked at the world's problems to say, but we are going through a lot of things as people. And me as an activist, as an artist, as a writer, I was like, I need to come up with solutions. And those solutions, how are they going to impact the society? How are they going to impact me as an individual? Also, even just my family. It was just to say that I had to team up with certain people to say, look, how about we come up, with such a campaign wherein maybe we can go and seek funding from it. So this is just to say, these are some of the solutions that we ourselves as young people can come up with to say, instead of always looking at being employed by anybody else, rather we need to start on our own and say, I know it's going to be one of those things to say that when somebody says, let's start, how do I even start? I don't even have capital. I don't even have A, B, and C. But I tell you, it is very doable. We came up with this Khulikani campaign, which is a campaign for gender-based violence and femicide by men and for men. And I want you to understand that we very understand that gender-based violence, hence we say gender, it affects both, which is the females and the males. But we, as men, when we looked at it, we were like, okay, every day when you wake up, when you read the news, when you watch the news, when you listen to the radio, the stats are always saying men are killing women, men are raping women, men are abusing women, which is, if maybe you can check it out, it also links back to what Usis Dina was saying, to say, what are some of these causes of these things that we are saying that they're affecting us and they're making it impossible for us to can be, employed, or rather be, have that opportunity to have that employment, or rather, end that poverty scourge or even gender-based violence and femicide. So we are saying as men from Khulikani to say that, look, we want to fight the scourge of gender-based violence in this fashion. We want to, because we understand that most of the families that we are from, and you can be a young person and you can be an older person, but you must understand that most of the families that these things are happening, they are child-headed families, wherein there's no what we call a father figure. Not even just that only, but most of the fathers, banally that's the right? Most of us don't have those father figures. So we were like, you know what, I think for us to can be able to solve some of these problems, it is wherein now we can start in that fashion to say we need to have father and son camps wherein we gather, and we're not talking about biological fathers and biological sons, but we are saying that we want to gather fathers and sons so that they can be able to mentor and lead and show them, Uri, what is it to be a real man? I heard you Sisi talking about Ukshela, and that is one of the things that we talk about, honestly, as gentlemen, because it's a very serious problem. Ikwababa is another thing, going on. So those kind of things, and as I talk about it, you might think that it's a joke, but I tell you, there are more men that are in jail for wrong reasons because of that, because of Ikwababa. What they know is to use their money, right? They get you, they sleep with you, and then they want you to give you money or whatever, or maybe you guys are not understanding with each other in terms of how you agreed and stuff. And then what happens? You end up in jail because you raped her, right? You did not rape her, you agreed, but you raped her because now you can't be able to provide whatever that she wants, right? So those are some of the things that we do talk about under Khulikani. And besides that, we also have a section wherein we deal with the disability community, wherein we understand, myself, I'm part of the disability community. And this is just to say that if there's any person with disability here, except to see Sylvia's Lucy said, no, she's doing the most. But it's just to say that there are people with disabilities who are just sitting at home, just enjoying the grant, not understanding that you can be able to go out there and, share your talents, because we are talented. If really, like I mentioned, that a person like myself with a disability can be able to acquire that honors, I can be on TV, I can travel overseas. What stops you from doing whatever that you want to do? So that is some of the things that we do under Khulikani. And I'm not alone. I'm going to call my colleague. Some of you guys might know him from TV, of course, or maybe some of you guys were young or not even born. He's a soccer legend. He used to play for Orlando Pirates. And do you guys know that star? Orlando Pirates. Yeah, he will tell you about it. He won that star. And he also played for Bafana. So these are some of the men that we managed and we've decided that we're going to team up with to say, because understand that gender-based violence, and more especially as us as we deal with males, this is some of these issues, we detect them from even the sporting codes that we we are involved in. So I'm going to call him to come and say a few words in closing so that, we can carry on with the... Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gaddafi. Dumelan, le guy? Le right? Le like right, but yeah, but nak to sinya nako. Babu letse ba botle ka fela ne. So, yeah, nna ke tletse bolo. Ne ke le stane. Yeah, ne ke tseba ntwa ka ne. Yeah, and Co-Pirate was the only handsome and skillful player. So that is why I became a star. And I was a captain, so I always wanted to lead. Next, nazanka nyoba famous. Always, let's say nyoba leader. I understand, and it happened. So what I'm trying to say, hore, nothing is impossible. Ne, ka fela ntotse ba di buile mo. How di batla di ka iragala through all odds. Now from a background as a monate, there are about 6 go high, but when I started to showcase a talent, I took it serious. Then I dropped a school because I was young. Ke excited ke batho ba shapa di flight ba itsang. But later on I realized hore there's one element ke tlwetseng ko morao ke sekolo ne. Then because I had money, I had cars, I had beautiful girls. Yeah, ne ke choose, ne ke sa no topa fela, ne ke choose. So, and I spent a lot of money because I get la itse Manala, Miriri, what, Savannah. So I spent a lot of money, so many girls, so many cars. It's like omolomo nana likolo ya hai ne. So, but unfortunately, ya fela chelete ne. Luckily, no, if fedile, le sang kopa nix, if fedile. So, but I went back like bacho hore mama matswale wa nurse what. Then I went back to school, ke godile. Then I started doing short courses, jwalo. Then I got a job, kabamnati, life aga ya thubeka ne. So what I'm trying to say, nothing is late, nothing is impossible. Whatever you want, yerahal. So hore ke join a holikani because ke tswa mo. Nako ke sa le grande, ke na le dikara le banyana ne ke sa ba respect ne because I had money, I had townhouse, I had what. So the girlfriends are ne ke sa di ncenge. It's either you in or you out. Mara ka itse o tlo ba ina ke re wa tengengela ya moriri leng. Amara nna ne ke betcha bona. Ke jilwe mara is alright. Ke jilwe is okay mara ke re groupile ne. Yeah, so but also education helped me hore ke thute go tone down, go te balance, low focus. Because next up focus, life was not balanced. Ever left, right. So eventually, I went back to school, Kaba Grand. I did all those short courses, and they helped their reshape of Pilovaga. And today I'm proud, Hekemi Mopila Bacha or whoever. Kiba botsa ke bua ka ditaba tsa violence. Hore I used to do that land. Go the girlfriend and other people for that matter. And at one stage, because naginali dilotag, how nali meeting ko jarate, naginya final way di be yaga, because kin na kon sanchale tagir, ke nna ko irang whatever. If it's a funeral, ke nna ko reka coffin. So tshwantse kaofela ba mamele nna. Understand? But the education and tutor hore tshwantse o be motho wa batho, tshwantse o mamele whether you reach o bjang, you need to listen. Tshwantse o sebetse le batho. So violence, we all know. Aina khala ke and re ntse le yona. Ba ba re ntse le yona re isametse ka mo dijarateng. What I'm trying to say ke hore whatever o le mo di situationeng or o bona situation a re reporteng ne o sa tshaba kana ba re mpi what mabitso a ko kasi again, but let's report these things because at the end of the day motho o tlo shwa o shebile and o feel bjang wena going forward ntho e lentse bua ko wena or mara if nke sale ka etsa seo nke mothola maybe a sa shwa. So let's report this thing, and if you are o ka mo hare, please o sana le nako ya ho tswa a se sebe ha o le sengile for couple of years. It's not a trace match. Mara ko kasi ba tla o pusha ntanga ai chomi wa bona. So in closing, nanto in tutileng haholo ke hore o sa phelela motho o mong. This is your life. It starts with you, your fellow loan. Now to sis. Ho ka re wena o nyoko reka BM for o nyoko hetan, you are wasting your time and your money. Live your life. We enjoy wena. So that's what Hex Noya Skolo. Ka start to phela life eo. And here I am today. And I'm proud of myself. So ke a leboha.
No, ke nako ya lena bjanong ne. Ntho e ke batla le gopotsa ne, a re nyatsane akere. I know you came here as ba boletse hore no, hey, wena wa na le ditšhelete ko wena o utlwahalang ko ntlong. Wena ha o sa bereka ha ona motho. It's a privilege to be with you here ne. And it's important that re gopole hore le le hore a le bereki. There's certain things that you are a part of. E leng hore o ka khona ho ba re ko irang share information. Well, understand that there are certain plans that you can share with each other, programs that you can share with each other. Please let's do that. I think there's an NYDA representative here or other youth formations. Arboleleng, let's ask questions, let's engage based on what was raised here and whatever it is that you want to raise. Ne? And then when we did this program go Ekurhuleni and Westland, we said no, are prioritizing bacha, ne? If mogolwane go bolela, o tla go bofelo and then remove for 1 minute ngana ke re ska ba exclude too much, ne? So is there anyone who wants to raise any questions? At least I think it would be good that you line up, ne? This side, anyone? Raise your hands. Okay. Let's go shy. Let's go tap. Okay, anyone who has a question to raise or something depositing based on what was raised, according to the theme and so on, please line up the side. Should we start with 7? Let 7 line up the side, and then ba kalinkamo line up anka side. Yeah, you can stand. Please stand, and then one by one, yeah. And then one by one, you will come here in front, ne? So that the cameras do capture again. For go YouTube da. This is your time, Benong again. All right. Okana batamela in the meantime. We can do that without talking again. All right. Yeah. Okana batamela. Ustate, and then please be here so that you are captured by cameras.
Numela. Lekker. Ting. Ish guys. when we have these programs, kopa le tlohele ho rasa, man. Ish. Because like some of us, we came here for vital information and no, sa kgona ho utlwa, wa bo. So can we please prioritize this and can we please like thank Gauteng Provincial Legislature for such programs. Anyways, my name is Tsepo Hepumtsa Pheko, ke tswa ko Palm Springs, and I'm a member of Youth Parliament with some of my members here. I was a speaker 2022. So I do understand when my sister Abu Wakore like, let's be involved and like I'm one of the people who is involved. So I know how like there's a lot of creatives here. There's a lot of people who are into art and all of that, but they can't monetize that and abana idea how like where can they go? So we have an organization called BICOSA, Black Unique Creative Council of South Africa. We advocate for creatives. So we assist the creatives and all of that nationally. So if you are a creative and you've got any project going on, can you please hit me up? Tlabe ke le teng, ke dutse mole. So yeah, and then also my question, you spoke about 20 people and 140 people that were assisted. Next time, can you please speak about businesses in that number? Because of once you assist the businesses, they can create employment and will be able to alleviate this unemployment that we have. So can it please be, but then thank you for youth empowerment, Ibeko Sedibeng. Shout out for that. Tada.
Dumelang batho ba batjha. Number one, ke kopa hore all protocol observed. And lebitso la ka ke Sarah Mangai from Barrage Rural. It's just outside Vanabale Park, the forgotten nation. Ke rata ho leboha Ntate Prince from legislature. We kitla etso ba hae hore atle ho rurale, atlo bona hore na batjha ba ka rurale ho etsahalang. Ha ke motjha, empa I'm highly involved nthong tsa ho bona hore young people from rural ba eme ka maoto. Ke a Sanco member from zonal level, ke secretary, hape ke na le NGO which is Barrage Skills Development. Barrage Skills Development ne re entse ho tlo thusha batho ba batjha hobane re bona hore ha ona letho le etsahalang ka rural. Ba salletse morao in everything. Dintlha tse 3 tse mentionwe mo taba ya unemployment, inequality, poverty, ba phela ka tsona on daily basis. But really Barrage Rural, ha re batle hore government, we have problems and we don't have solutions. We do have solutions, re kopa thuso hore rural e lebetswe. Ke kopa mme Maloka a tsebe taba e. Rural e lebetswe. Number 1, ho taba ya inequality. Batho ba batjha ka rural, bongata ba bona ba fella who the substance abuse because there's nothing ka rural. Ha ona le a recreational facility where they can go and gather themselves and do any sports activities or library or anything. But I ipuella ke ele group e tlileng le yona through the help ya Ntate Prince. So Barry, they have land available ya masipala or ya government, free land. How can they access that land? Because it dutse fela, so that they can be helped. Ke government wa rona ho ba le sports center where they can have access to library, Wi-Fi and so on, so that they can be able to participate. Dinthong tse mme a buileng ka tsona a re ke di youth dialogues and what. Ha ba di thole, ba bang ha ba na di data. Ke
ke rural. Do we get, ha ke re rural ke bua kang? Ha ona monyetla wa di-Wi-Fi. Ba fetwa ke information, bonus span, tshwantse ha di di teng, nna ke ye ho bona, ke ise, ke etseng. Sometimes ha ke kgone. So then, ba miswa ki information, no transport infrastructure. Hauna di taxi ka rural. Hauna public transport whereby they can go where you are saying there are seminars for young people. Baya fetwa because lenna sometimes I'm using my own resources to help, but it's very limited. So go kopa thuso go government ya rona hore attendang batho ba batjha. Hona tjena hona le kereke ka mo e partnerile le VUT in terms of entrepreneur skills whereby they can be helped, but they are from poor families. Where are they going to get money to pay for that course? It's a year course. VUT batla tjhelete, but it tlisitse ka rural so that it can be close to people. But habana hona ba thusiwa jwang batjha ba rural ka ntho tse tshwanang le tseo. And issue ya unemployment is rife. Re na le bana ba entseng matric ba dutse hae. Ke tlo etsa example ka dikolo, education department. We have schools in the rural, 4 schools. Ha re re ho batluwa assistant teachers, di principal tsa dikolo le ma teacher because ba tswa locationeng, ba tla le bana ba locationeng. They occupy those spaces. Bana ba rural ba dula ba sena ntho ba e etsang. You can go out one day ka rural and then call them, interview them, or see the area for yourself. It is painful. Yet, honali land, ya government, free land, that can be used for agricultural purposes, whereby young people can gather themselves, put themselves together and plant something and batole market through the help of government. Bahloka thuso, batjha ba rural, baraj. Thank you.
Baba bolelang ke a le jaja ne. So ke tlo bitsa mo pele. Hello. I'm going to call you in front so at least you whatever it is ele tolokang ka yona wa bona. Ke chance ya lena e ya ke re bjano. So please come in front and say something ne. But if I hear rau eo, I'm coming to you with a mic ne.
Oh, thank you. Dumelang ka lebitso ke Thato Moronyane. Ke hlaya from Justice and Peace, which is the social arm of the Roman Catholic Church. So the program tse lo re dila ka tsona ke gender-based violence and also the issue ya the digital skills. So hona jwale hobane re kgweding ya the human rights. So ne ke tlo botsa like the legislature to say hore la khona ho support the initiatives tse lo reng they are seeking hore di educate about the human rights, meaning the human rights initiatives, because re bone hore batho ba rona our rights di dula di valuatwa no and on. So ne re botsa hore the human rights literacy program le ka khona hore le assist, if not hona le di organizations tse leng le ka re link up le tsona na. Then ke tle go uswaka from Sedibeng office nya mayor. Looks ka ha ke tsholo hore re dila ka the digital skills mo lo re fa young people the skills, like for an example re le ra trainer young people ka hore ba fly the drones, right? Ba ba ntse the cyber security and including the data science. So now currently now re na le a challenge this year mo lo reng we have partnered with VUT. But the struggle ko hore since re kenya the proposal from the e-governance till today benze ba re sokodisa hore ba ka re assist in terms of the logistics. But I think now the logic dictates hore re ke se jump from Sedibeng re ya go Gauteng while elore Sedibeng ska ha no etsa the presentation to say hore le lona like la opta for that particular space. Then lastly question aka ko hore Osbusi Nekopa just maybe how ka fast track because there was a request go the office of the mayor with regard the real estate internship program ya Ken Killer Williams. So I think the other lady, I'm not sure Nilwena, Lori Olanjweta Horeke Buele Mayor direct, but I'm not sure, maybe she's too much engaged via elections or ki issue ya hore bente bali busy for the preparations at the human rights. So thank you very much.
Lebitso la ka ke Mackenzie Kaswa, ke tswa Ward 18 hona mo mo re leng teng mona. Now e re ke re ke tlo qala tjena, thanks to Mfuleni for hosting legislature, and thanks to our councillor Methandi Khoza for o dumelle legislature be mona. What is the meaning of legislature? Legislature is a structure that enables ordinary voters on the ground to hold public representatives accountable. In other words, we have a highest structure in government for the voters. Ara shapeleng, Mfuleni Mato. Yes. And then number two, who buaetse ka taba ya unemployment among the youth. To be honest, unemployment among the youth has become a major cause for concern, particularly for our government. But I would like to indicate, Maruna Monhori, definitely we are aware of the measures that the government has put in place, such as Bonaida and others. The problem with these institutions is that you'll find that our youth are not aware of those structures. I would be appealing that let there be publicity to ensure that our youth is aware. I can make you such a very simple example. Go to NIDA. NIDA is not very far from here. It's here in Everton. But go there, you'll find only 4 youth in that. You ask yourself, why can't we find so many youth in there? If they were aware that we've got NIDA that is assisting our youth with employment. I'm concerned about that. I was there to say, why don't we find youth here? It means our youth is not aware of this. So to talk about address that thing, let those institutions that have been mandated to provide financial support to assist with development projects for young people be visible to young people. And then ke kopa ho tla tabeng ya lona bontate gender base. Ke tswa mokgahlong o bitswang Vosa Madoda. O teng. Kadi 1 and 2 and 3 we were having provincial conference on gender-based violence at Lesedi Cultural Village in Northwest. It was a provincial. We were there, Vosamadota was represented. I would be appealing that immediately after this meeting, let us meet, gentlemen, because part of our tasks and responsibility is to fight the following: gender-based violence, drug substance abuse, xenophobia, poverty, and unemployment. I therefore would really appreciate it that immediately after this, let us meet so that we can partner, team up. Lastly but not least, Maruna, sessions like this require a strong follow-up mechanism. In other words, we mustn't have this session only today. Let us have this session again to examine whether our government is delivering on all the promises that we are making. Thank you.
Dumelang. Lebitso la ka ke Lerato Makgabi. Ke tswa Dirang ka Kagiso Youth Development Center. Re dila ka computer and life skills. Hantle ne ke tlo bua ka hore ke kopa ha le bana le di programs tse so ke kopa le tsetse le bana ba rural areas ke tswa diplasing nna hantle. So ha o ka fihla diplasing bana ba diplasing ha bana tsebo e so. Bana ba diplasing ha bana tsebo ka bo Youth Expo ha ba di tsebe ntho tse tjena. Ha o ka fihla diplasing hona jwale ba ntho ba e duletseng ke ho nwa bojwala ho dlala bo dikarete. So ne ke kopa hore le tse di programs tse jwalo mo bo diplasing. Ha ye ke diplasing Rich Spread Ward 25. Ke a leboha.
Sanibonani. Ninjani? igama uZweledinga wakwamqwathi, ngiphume Palm Springs, it's Ward 20. I am a TAC participant, I'm a district chairperson with TAC, an organization called Treatment Action Campaign. I think abantu abadala would know it more often, more easier because it is one of the organizations, or at least the main organization, that fought for people who are living with HIV to receive amabilis. I am also in the ANC Youth League at a zonal level. I'm also with District AIDS Council. I don't want to continue as if I'm trying to, yeah, it's just a brief introduction. If anything, I think I want to remain within the context of the seminar namhlanje, being should we vote or should we not vote? I think we really underestimate the right to vote as young people. Whenever we do a door to door, you realize ukuthi abantu abasha are not interested in voting. Ngize ngikhulumelwa na abazali babo. To say, no, tsamo vote, ngwanaka, tlamehile o vote. But it's because they understand the importance of voting. I think that we have not lived through the horrors that we come from as a country for us to actually understand the importance of voting.
Bacha, please, can you come this side and raise the issues you want to raise? Because the noise, man, I right. I'm not. Otherwise, we'll have the elders speaking on your behalf. I get to the please. I get.
So with my first point is that know and exercise your rights. Even foreign nationals know how to exercise the constitution, the rights enshrined in the constitution as South Africa. And I don't think us as young people in South Africa are aware on how to have the constitution benefit us. So know your right and exercise it. That's the first thing I wanted to note. The second thing is that elections actually have real life consequences. You know, so if there's anything that if you abstain, just know that you'll be in a way dictated by because you had no say in those elections. Slogan say Gauteng Provincial Legislature is your vision, our mission. So you can actually have your vision set out and implemented in the legislative processes. The other thing we also should be aware, which tax is your money, and how it is spent, it is also up to your vote. Also, democracy is an expression of the majority's voice. It actually needs people to vote for it to exist. So its continuation, as it has been fought by previous activists, relies on us continuing and maintaining it in voting. The other thing is that I believe that we are aware now that maybe if we were not, it was just mentioned that young people constitute the majority of the population. So if one people really had a voice and one united voice, we can easily drive the future of this country. May we please be competent, singahlale emakhoneni, and only consume and try to produce. I believe that with the majority of the black people who are here, we are very skilled and well capable. So ngicela sibe competent and try to advance ourselves in different hierarchies. There's a lot of hierarchies that are there. Whether it's in employment, whether it's in skills development, whether it's in teaching, I believe that there's a lot of careers and competence hierarchies that we can participate in and prove that we are competent so that we can also contribute to the livelihood of our country in a positive way. Gabon.
Sanibonani. Okay, mina igama lami nguThandeka, Thembu, phuma ePalm Springs. Okay, ngizoqala ukukhuluma nosisi. Mina one of the people abaphuke idolo basasebancane, ne? Ngikhulisa umntwana ona 19 years, my firstborn daughter she's 19 years old, iqeda isikolo 2021, right? So bengifuna ukwazi ukuthi ama learnerships aphuma kwabantu abanjani, because I have been applying for my learnerships akayitholi umntanami. Ngima-applyele for NSFAS, ngim-approvile akasitholi isikolo. Ngi-applyile for ama universities, i-Wits University, i-Val, i-UT, i-UJ, wonke ama universities, almost wonke ngi-applyile akatholi isikolo, but i-NSFAS ilo i-approvile. Kumele nje stage esokugcina ukuthi athole isikolo then afunde. Umntanami une-depression, uhleli endlini. Awuhlala ahlele endlini ayivalele, so bengifuna ukwazi ukuthi ngelo issue enjalo sidila nayo kanjani. Okay, enye issue engibhekane nayo ukuthi umsebenzi angisho sone age limit from 18 to 35. Thina abana 36 upwards kwenzakalani ngathi? Ngoba nathi siyavota number 1. Angisho kwenzakalani ngathi thina abama 36 years ukuya phezulu nathi siyavota. Nami ngila ngiyiwanela abantu ukuthi ngivote or ngingavote. Ngimile lapho. Ngiyabonga.
Dumelang. Nna ka lebitso ke Setjhaba Blessing le Tabana ke tswa hona mona small farm. So nna taba e ntitseng ka pele by right. Nna ke le J. I might say somewhere somehow I'm academically smart. But then the main reason se etsang hore nowadays ke be high, ke rutsi high, but then in 29 kore I have a bachelor. So bothata ke hore South Africa corruption e ngata. Corruption in South Africa e ngata. I'm saying this because it was about 15th of January hona mo, I'm not sure. Ke applyile ko VUT. Ha ke check status is acknowledged, but then ke ile ka lo etsa a walk in. And it was space was occupied. But then, haki akantle. Hona le motho ke mthotsing. Ne ke discipline apparently. So anjwetsa gore yena space was tot. Ha ke mbotsa jwang. O njwetsa gore nna ntato ga kena kening ka mo. I don't know o buile le batho ba jwang. But then ba njwetsa gore I have to buy courses. So ke yona ntwe nna ni seng okay. So chong wena o reka di courses kapa o bribe batho gore kapa di administrators hore o kgone ho thola space, whereas rona ba bang ba re jwetsa gore space is occupied. Last thing, hona le ntho engwe re lebalang, like look you dimension the unemployment rate they are high. Other reasons tse etsang gore unemployment rate e be high, it might be birth rate. Birth rate in South Africa is too high because of really the teenagers we are sexual active. So skare sexual active ga boreya man. So skare boreya just because ha re busy hona ntho re etsang. Batho ba chakelana. Hence we get a teenage pregnancy e le ngata South Africa. Teenage pregnancy, instead of it decreasing, keeps on increasing. Batho ba boreya, they want, like hari ya sekolong, we are used to get busy every now and then. We are busy. So le rona like ha qeta di house chores, ke anahana ma hana ntho e tla etsa. First of all, I'm unemployed. Skolo ha ke sithole, but then ke smart and I'm capable and I know ke na le strength. So nka achieve the goals tag. Really watcha, we are much dedicated to our goals. But then government alone, I think you are failure somewhere somehow. Reason being government failure is because they encourage us to go to school. Baro tusa somewhere some barife body jo ko skolong and stuff. But then putsoko wetsa hala in after tertiary. Bos ba rona ba duty ka di degree. Ha ba ya mesebetsi. I think I get to be get tlo bua hampe ka pa jwang, but then the response tse ba di buang nowadays kore magwa ha ba khone ho hira batho ba smart ho feta bona. Like tse ding tsa di response tse ba di tholang bos ba rona ke bo you are highly qualified for this job. We both are like I'm highly qualified jwang ke le desperate for mosebetsi. First of all, I have mouth to feed go through, can do. But then, I get told you opportunity. And we are surprised. And what I like, Kuri, there's a quote that is saying, today's excellence is tomorrow's mediocrity. But then government has to reach tomorrow's mediocrity. Joang. But then request taken on Leona today, Kuri at least. How about Bacha, bana di skills, Bacha ba di entse di courses. How about for the lente basa di using? At least, ba re fe access. Ya ho participate mo, at least re izamele ka bo marketing yana, re jale mo, because we have people who are skilled. Ka dintho tsa ho jala. Batho ba entse agriculture. But then ha ona mo ba qetile, ha ona mo ba yang teng. Ntho e ba leng desperate for yona no ke mosebetsi. So nna ke kopa hore at least for the land tse government is using ba fe batho access ya hore ba di sebedise to grow our South African agriculture. Le hore hape at least if ba khona ba extended universities to South Africa, because the universities of South Africa, as we know, South Africa in Africa, ke yona le ranking e betere ka value. So the foreigners batho ba tswang kantle ba dumelletswe ho tla ka mo ba tlo rutwa. Whereas if we look skeptically, the university di tletse ho tletse bona batho ba tswang kantle, ho tletse batho ba tswang kantle. Rona the South Africans they encourage almost every day. Okay, le vote. But then what do we get after voting? What we get after voting? So, nana ke kopa hore government e assist e remite halfway. Because it seems like perspective ntho tse good from rona. But then bona ba remite halfway. And ke utlwa le taba mesebetsi 18 to 35. But then batswadi ba rona ba over 36. What about bona? What about the ministers tse tjhintjhisanang ka di political positions? Jwang. How? There's a specific age. There's a specific age. E behetsweng batswadi ba rona for mesebetsi. Hore ha o reach 60, ha o sa hlotse o sebetsa. But then if
we get to be excited. There are things. Facing youth that are above 35 years and old. Thank you.
Okay, ke leboha mme. Ne ke bua gore nna ka lebitso ke Sipati ke tsona mona small farm. Bathong ne re bua ka taba 350. Ke a tseba le tlong gwa ka kopa le ska nshapa nga ketso. Ne ke re di 350 angere le bonno se ba 370. Aya. Hobane rona re le batjha re se re sa ipulele ballot re protesting against yona tšhelete ho ya ka nna ne ke re hobane e sa kwalwe total yona 350 or 370 tšhelete tseo kaofela ba re etsetse mosebetsi ka tsona cause ntho ya pele kaofela re le tje ka mo re ile sekolong ha ona motho a sena matric ka mo ke ile sekolong ke ile Sedibeng ke graduate ke na tona certificate dingata o tsoa o sengwa matha last week ne re le Vrenageng le ba bang ka mona banquet hall ba itseng go rona fix re batla 140 ne re le bo mai 250 ka mo ho tlo nkwa mang o tlo tlwelwa mang o ka di metšhelta o palama o typeana le di CV o tsamaisa di email wa phone o batla o utlwa gore ho etsa la jwang ka application ya hao ha ona motho a o responda o kene sekolo o batla o apply ba o jwetsa ka 5 years experience o inka ka 5 years experience o qetile matric last year bomme ba ka taba ya volunteer o swa ka re tswafi mara o palama o tloa mo o ya Vanderbilt every day o tla bo palama iswa ke mang why ba sa office stipend nyana le wena wa volunteer o batla skill o batla experience ha angere ha o volunteer tšhelete ya o nka ya volunteer mo Vrenageng o tlo ifwa ke mang ya o palama o dula heno o mme o ntate o na le bana ka mona boyfriend tsa o dula hlile o tlo etsa jwang abatswadi nna kopa le re thuseng ha ona motho a hanang o sebetsa ka mo ke a leboha.
He's okay, we have two more and then refer opportunity to our panelists to respond to some of the issues, ne?
Sanibonani ngegama ngumthunzi wakamachoma umthimkhulu Bhungane Mashiya Mahle. Okay, I'm not going to be long, I'm just going to give a solution. As abantu abasha ne, most of us we have skills that we do on our daily basis. Besides ukubhoreka nokwenza izinto ezanesisada nokuchile khoneni sikhulume ngemoto ezintswembe singakazi drive. Mengithi mina as singabantu abasha why singahlanganini if khona ukwazi ukwenza paving, ukwazi ukuakhibonda, ukwazi ukwenza anything skillful, plumbing, something. Why singahlanganini sonke sifundisane lawo ma skills lawo. Then ngathi sofunana nemisebenzi esazi ukuthi sovuka ngo9 uzovuka ngo6 uyemsebenzini ngo8 uchayisa ngo6 ukhathela awunazinye izinto ozozenza. As the youth I believe we have goals and dreams, right? So what are we doing to achieve those dreams? We need each other. Ngitsatingana sonke. As youth I think we need to have one voice. Am I capping? Yeah, ngikhuluma ngelanguage yena. Am I capping? I'm not capping, right? So in terms of ngisho ukuthi let's uplift each other than ukuthi sigxekalene phansi. Yabo? Ukuthi na next time mengabe zohlangana futhi kwi meeting ekanje size ngama solutions than complain and do nothing about them. Yabo? So ukuthi na next time umama waseSedibeng mekezoza athi kunama opportunities avelayo siyazi sibaleke laphi ukuthi nathi next time sizopopha one day. Am I capping? Sizopopha, but as long sonke thina senzeni sibumbene siyivoice eyi-one. Ngiyabonga.
Aha mosha aha. Go young lions go. Kalibitso ki Sikni Mahai. Bantsibang, I was the speaker of the Gauteng Youth Parliament. I'm the first black man to be in the international parliament. I was representing South Africa in Seychelles in Swahili legislature. Those who are saying there's no opportunities, asazi in Kunumanga, but we'll talk about that. Thanks for me to be here because of most of my tongue. Mangkuluma mina. I always talk about the young people. My concern is the young people because I represent the young people. I'm happy I've heard the young person who was speaking. The name Chapela Mazzone. Lere Chapela in Lerona. Skara Chapela fella have fever when I get. I'm saying to say, as young people, guys, there's where Hunale Gap and this gap, Harry Bono Chaparona, end of the day. We are not participating. We are not involved. Sifunu bizo abobani to come and knock on your door to say, come, unanento angeli. That is the biggest gap is now. Now I've been seeing, you know, Benhlelele emove, watching Mabati young people come forward in Zokulum. Kuza abantu abadala. You know why? Abantu abadala bayawathatha opportunities because they can see what it is shared. There are many programs of young people. Now they were launching brigade. You know, I was shocked when I see the list of Abantu Baguma brigade. Abantu abadala. Young people were not there when the brigade was launched. We have Amapanyapanya. Where's the young people in Mapanyapanya? Where are we? Say Zalap. I'm coming there. I'm coming there. What I'm saying, okay, in Tongfuno Wisho, can we be involved? Number one.
Order.
Number one, let's start to challenge the leadership Sedibeng to say, if it's bona structure in our area, as young people, you must ask, babuya pibanyenze kanjani bangene kanjani wena ungayazi. That is our duty as number one. I love this young person okay to kulumati young people hibo balwela le struggle. Tina sinzani, are we fighting now? Abantu bayakhona ukungena ikasi lakho bazofaka isikontiri wena uhlelo uya unemployed. You don't ask ukuthi kwenzakalani la ikasi lakho. Let's start there to act and we vala nje to say enhle bengifuna uMamntombi mina bengimangele chair deputy chair mabati Helen ngithi maybe senimsusi uMamntombi we had a nice parliament in Seychelles where sibonile with even here in South Africa that thing can work. If it's in a youth sector nationally and provincial, why don't we have youth sector in the districts where young people are sitting so that these organizations that are claiming that are representing young people, they must come and account to us. Because they are getting funds from the government claiming or they are representing young people. Because of most of the funds, ziphelela kuma NYDA, ziphelela kuma structure lawas biza ukuthi are represent young people. And we are not part of that. Khona manje mangakubuza ama office wa NYDA akuphi ase Midrand. Ba represent abani Midrand. We need to ask those questions. Those are only to as young people to say, let's start what is now we Spagame. There's a youth parliament on June. I'm a deputy chair. Let's see young people, and I'm going to be one of the people that will be recruiting in Sedibeng young people, so that when we go to youth parliament, we are going to fight for that and making sure you go to a resolution where it was young people are implemented like Sedibeng. We'll go to the office ga mayor to say savumela nanga 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kwenzakala. If we have to sit na ye office sifuna lawo ma-answer, we'll sit for the whole day until we get those answers. Niyang understand? That's why I'm saying, let's not point fingers to say, government wenzani, government wenzani. Point to yourself now to say, from now on, ngiyasukuma ngiwenza something there, engizokokota. Kokota, I mean, I always say, ngena ngenkani. We are young people, ngena ngenkani. Ungancingi la. Lokuthi kungena uminister ogugile naye ungene ngenkani, ngena ngenkani. Thank you. Ro Young Lions ro.
Yeah. No, ra leboga. Ke bona ka re an elder ba tlo bua something. Okay. One rapela re wa khopela ne, but ke go fa 2 minutes fela ne, so that the panelists di khona who respond to some of the issues. O kana batamela.
Dumelang. Ke Tumelo Mahlatsi. Thawe rema ka slepe ya setswe madi a tswa mkola. Ke tswa ke dula zone 13. Ke mametse topic tse ntse le di bua kaofela. Yes, do good guys. Ke ntho tse sharp. Ke utlwa le abuti a qetang go tloa monana o re kene ka nkane. Ha o kena ka nkane o tse maponisa lo tshwara. Ntho ke ena ke lo duma yona he. Ke lo utlwila le bua guys, problem ya rona ke di drugs. Bona le yet rona re le batjha ntate.
Order.
Ke tla pointing you, don't be fast mfethu. Ka botlile wa bua wa bo. So ntwena na itjeni. Re na le problem ya di drugs ya batho bana ba rekisang di drugs. Re na le mmuso e leng wa rona. Ha o qala o supa ore Wonder Boy, I'm talking about myself. Wonder Boy kwa no rekisa di drugs. Dimensa ba fitla ba uniform bank. Ha ba fitla khone man ba nsiya se ke ba file tjotjo bona. Ke ntho ke bothata ba rona bo. Ne ke kopa hore le ka etsa ka matla hore di drugs di fela. Batho ba badimo ba na le degree. Ntho tsena kaofela di pura pera ka mefuta-futa. Me ha o tlo kopana le motho man o tshwere plastic re ba bitsa bo Father Christmas jwang. Ha o bua le motho English ya ntshang o kekebe wa e bua le wena. Bothata keng depression. Ke tlo etsa jwang? Ke tlo etsa. Ke a kopa mam, please al ke la e sheba taba di drugs. Ha ke na mantswe a mangata. Thank you mam.
Ra leboga. You can go ahead, our panelist.
Oh, thank you very much. Program Director, allow me then to engage or to quickly respond to the views that were raised by
Apologies, I'm the only one who's allowed to sit. If you can stand, please.
Oh, sure, thank you. Allow me then to quickly engage, or if not, attempt to respond to the comments, inputs that were raised by the young people on the floor. As the Commission, like I indicated earlier on, I did mention hore, I am the responsible for the outreach coordinator in Mfuleni. So, whenever you need voter education, churches, public places, let us know. And I'm responding to the issue, the view, Yantate Mkwati from Palm Springs. Thank you very much for once more time emphasizing the significance Yahore Revote. As Mrs. Busi indicated earlier on, that young people Kibona Beloring population, guys, is 60% of the population, yes, South Africa. So if it's not us, then who? To somebody santanare, minangazi ukuthi vote noma, please do it. It is your democratic right. It is your democracy. Own it. And But ba santsane ba le frustrated ka mesebetsi, IEC ena le di-opportunities tsa temporary, re di bitsa di-project base. So as we speak, online applications di butswe hona jwale. So please go to www.iec.online. Okay, let me be slow here. www.iec. O kgone ho sheba on the portal. Should you wish then to become our official, o kgone ho participate dikgethong tsena, you then need to complete your modules, and then at least 85% and above, you would have to complete and o kgone ho re join. So as temporarily build your CV as we move. I don't want to be long, but ke leka fela ho respond mona le mana. Akere, there was a young person here, very vibrant, very passionate. Please keep the passion burning. Please keep the fire burning. However, re hloka ntho e re bitsang ka hore ke political literacy. As you engage, don't be all over the show. You must be informed. We do not want to say, you must build houses for us. At the same time, during violent protest, you burn the very same house. It does not make sense. Okay? So we are not saying for that matter, don't protest, but we're saying be informed. Again. Now, lastly, as the commission, we are now saying it is therefore important for you to go and vote. Please read the manifesto. The young person who was here, interested in the academical sector. Please go and read and engage all the political parties. For this time around, we have more than 20 political parties. Read their manifesto. The one that speaks to you most, go Libona. After 5 years, how about Kenya Umo? But just participate for the elections. Thank you.
Thank you. Before us, we said there was something about foreign nationals being able to vote. I don't know if you want to clarify that so that we get it right.
Thank you very much. These are maybe we should then go to the basics of the basics. And thank you very much because Kikarulia part Kapaki and Karulia voter education. I beg your pardon. So, who is eligible to vote? Only South Africans. Number 2, who are registered to vote. You can be a South African carrying your ID, but if you are not on the voters roll, you did not vote. Unfortunately, we can't help you. Thirdly, you must then have a aging area 18 years and above, or a valid ID. Again, Jale, ena he banabesu hasia the foreigners, only for South Africans. The commission is very strict about that. Maybe another question is what's one of the vote whether we vote or not, the specific parties, certain parties will continue. I am Biganjalo. Each and your vote counts. So your vote is your voice. So as soon as you come here and say, why am I doing it? Your vote, it is your voice. Remember, it is your democracy. Own it. Thank you.
Yeah. And then before as well, I just want to add. You are fine. I just want to add to the manifesto. A lot of young content creators, more particularly TikTok, X, former Twitter, they do it Gadi Spacey, TikTok Gadi Live, as well as YouTubers. Bastata hubolela, badi badile, the manifestos. But then they hold discussions. Who summarize those manifestos and then discuss them. Ne? So I'm sure if you cannot access our Wi-Fi, go to the community centers, please also do that. Ne? Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Ndate Majans, thank you very much. Please tell them about your podcast, King David, so that for those of you who don't know much, that podcast, King David Studios. And thank you for the role that you've played in South Africa, and you remain a young person at heart. I thank you, Dad. Thank you.
I am going to attempt to respond and engage on some of the issues as well that were raised by these young people of Sedibeng. And as I spoke earlier, Austineo, I think I failed you Butzweli from Palm Springs brought us back a bit when he did his presentation, and he made me aware of the theme of the day. And the theme says to vote or not to vote. And if you were listening to me earlier and you comprehended properly what I was presenting to you, I think I simply gave my stance. As a young South African in 2024, I say I am going to vote. And the reasons I'm going to vote are the reasons that which I gave earlier. And as I sat here and listened to the frustrations of our young people, to the daily challenges that we face, and some of the possible solutions that were presented to us by these very young people, that's why I'm going to vote. Because I want to continue making sure that there is a platform for young people like ourselves to come here and address our leadership that was voted into office by our very votes. So imagine if you sit home and decide not to vote. Where will your voice be heard? Who will come here and sit and decide, I will waste my time and come listen to the young people of Sedibeng? So I would say, and in me voting, I would encourage you, if you didn't register to vote, go and register to vote for the local elections in 2026, because then that is going to affect you more immediately. The councillor that would then sit here, like Umamtandi, can be decided by you. And our processes were managed, our government, this democratic government that we're
Order.
These processes that exist, they allow even us, you know, you can go to a community meeting, convince your peers, and become what Sistandi is. This young man that spoke here, in 2026, he can become a councillor if he takes himself serious. But it's all upon ourselves. It goes back to what I spoke to earlier. Information, research. How do I get into the process? Your activism, again, your volunteerism. Abuti speaks about our political consciousness. One of the biggest downfalls in listening to everyone and in responding, young people of Sedibeng, we are not politically active. We think politics are only for a few people. How to honali meeting, a certain organization, you think it's for people wearing certain t-shirts. And anyone is allowed to be involved with any party. And one of the things that I've realized in this dispensation of democracy is that the political parties, they are very friendly to young people. Whether it be the African National Congress through the Youth League, whether it be the IFP through Bomkulego Hlengwa, if you watch the news, you can see people leading now are young people. And we cannot come here and complain to say, hey, these old people don't want to retire, they don't want to leave parliament. When they leave, who's going to occupy those seats? Because students were sitting in corners and here making complaints. You understand? So when we cast aspersions on people, we must also remember to look at ourselves to say, if I want a solution, how am I contributing to that solution? Ne? More specifically, I want to respond to the first gentleman that spoke about us doing something for young people in businesses. It is very sad that the NYDA is not here. And I think one of the speakers earlier mentioned, in Sedibeng, we have an NYDA office. Ikoma Fatan, just up one level from where the IEC office is. And one of the offerings, the NYDA, is they offer free, please note, free business management training for young people in the legal limits of being young in South Africa. That costs Inca a week, it's Monday to Friday. After that week, you get a certificate. That certificate that you get from that course, it gives you access to about 250,000 rands for you to start yourself off. And the crisis that we face is that our very young people, when they go and inquire, the solutions are fast. Again, we want it here, we want it now. But we don't want to put in the work. How would you let classing for beke fela, who rotole Steve 250? Then who belbate, Bahonang Udula for beke, asking a certificate. Just because you are lazy and you don't want to implement the things that you learned through the course. Yeah, business management. How about your business plan? Form. The NYDA has simplified process your application. You now do it online.
Order. You're missing important information.
Right? Now, with the NYDA, if you want to access that man, you go online, you register yourself. So you can be sitting in your bed, and be scrolling through your TikTok and going to your browser and register for the course and for the funding. The money is there. I'm speaking from a point of privilege because before I came to work in Sedibeng, I was the grants officer in Mafatan. I used to do the site inspections for these young people's businesses. Our problem is that we have access to information, but renale lazy syndrome but re expect a bat and even when we are given opportunities, we still slag. So we need to pull ourselves together and not slag. Another issue I wanted to address, you guys raised a very important issue of NGOs or organizations that claim to be working for young people but are not benefiting young people. Part of the activities that we are currently undergoing, and some of you may attest to this, just last week we had what we call civil society elections in Sedibeng for all NGOs to formalize them so that we can know as municipality who are our stakeholders. Coming to the month of June, we're going to be embarking in the same process as the youth office, where we're going to do NGO mapping in the region. We're going to publicize it. Please visit the website of the municipality and the social media pages. As Ausi has said, as you scroll through your TikTok and your Facebook, we are there in those spaces. Go there and seek relevant information because part of that is going to assist you. We are sitting with this problem of age when assist Dineo because government change age youth from 18 to 35. It's upon yourselves. Key issue of police. So you must be actively involved in your organization. If you go to a policy conference, that's where it's going to change. But if you're sitting at home and you're just complaining and lamenting, it's not going to happen. So your activism is important. We're going to host the regional youth conference for young people of Sedibeng in June this year. Hopefully just before they go to youth parliament so that the delegation can go represent Sedibeng there. Where we're going to give young people of Sedibeng, which are yourselves, a chance to decide ukuthi nifunani ngani yiziphi izinto enifuna ukuzibona zenzeka nifuna ukubona uphi umehluko and abobani bafuna ukubabona bayihambela phambili lento leyo. So angazi ukuthi ngiphendulile some of your questions. Issue yase VUT I am aware of. Sadly, it is not within the ambits of our office for us to address le yokhishwa amajojo ne corruption yase VUT. However, if you come to the office, we have people that we work with from VUT. There is a complaints process at VUT. So when you have a case and evidence to that effect, write an email and address the issue, and hopefully you can get support and a response. And if Osatoli responds, get support from other places and get us to assist you. And make the query, uska safara in your own corner. Because if usa complain, situation hay no solved. Again, if you come here and speak here in front of people, there's no VUT here. But if you go to the institution and say, where's your inquiries or your complaints office? Then you present your case. Maybe somebody might be able to help you. Same thing at teenage pregnancy. There are programs, I wrote teenage pregnancy. The young man who was very robust up here spoke about how young people are very sexually active because they don't have anything else to do. Asali, you can do what you like with your board. But what I like about this very government that I'm going to go vote and reinstate is because iya offer the option. Tahori, uskaba a victim of teenage pregnancy. There is a clinic almost in every ward in Sedibeng, right? In those clinics, they distribute condoms. There is also, what do they call it? PrEP. I get on just only the PrEP, so didn't before. So only the post, kicking after. Or uska thola di STIs and all of those. So for saying that you are blaming the current system for your pregnancies and irresponsibilities, it's irresponsible of you. Because these options are there. And if we don't tell each other the truth, nobody's going to tell us the truth. We'll continue misleading one another. If we're now active, uporea fast, samaya uitukisa, Kenyan 20 at 3 years. If ulimchita waipona uru busy, ba ufale box edi kondo. Dula una leona ka pogoto. Right? Akere wena busy. And then you don't want your future to be affected. So those are just some of the reasons why we should go out and vote. Because as much as they are fixed by our elders, and it is upon ourselves through the very vote that we can change that. Abuti Hana presenter earlier on, independent candidate. Again, 3 ballots. Independent. All you need, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, is to get 1,000 signatures for national. For you to be a candidate, you're independent. And if we rule a small farm, between small farm and Everton, ukadi tola the signature of 8,000. Utsamayo ye parliamenteng. Akere o batla o tlosa bonkgono le bontate molwana. Then sebetsa o batlosa. We understand. So listen to less is accessible. It's about information and acting on the information that you have. And more than anything, young people, let's stop competing and start collaborating. Asisebenzisane omunye ubhutila ukhulume ngama skills, right? To say mina ngikwazi ukupenda, mina ngishaya ipeki, mina ngikwazi ukutshala. Kunama cooperatives. Right? Government you can go register a cooperative online and domnandi lezinto lezi accessible on our fingertips. You don't need to go see anyone. You need to be sitting with your friends, have data. The nice thing in Sedibeng, I know for a fact, in Sedibeng I'm a library and a free Wi-Fi. Nimala pefrena khenge fence ni se yawa le yokuqala sesi fence mama ngayo kanje good download wa konje ibizwana ilansingana le download angisho siyayazi instead of uploading your profile or CV go South African Youth Portal where these opportunities that you're complaining about they are there so in a nutshell, make use of us. Yabo if ninga sebenzisi sizovuka siye ema ofisini sigeze sihlale kushaye 4 o'clock siye emakhaya. So it's upon you to get off our behinds, young people, and let's take on our future and take ourselves seriously. Thank you.
Our organization, I will give to our presiding officer at the end. Ne? Yeah. You can go ahead if you have any input or response. There was also Vuga Madoda, or an NGO as well that works with gender-based violence and men. Is there anything you want to respond to?
One more time, for me this time around, no, it's not really just to respond, but it's just to say that I just want to reassure you as young people that as a young person, I believe in you guys. And I want you guys to understand that the power of unity, you guys need to unite so that you can be able to come up with those solutions. And when you are united and you share opportunities amongst one another, it's going to be easy for us to say we're going to end unemployment, and also it is going to be easy for us to come up with those solutions that are we have come up with problems too. So with that said, please let's not be lazy to go out and research, because like they said, information is at the fingers of our tips, or rather at the tips of our fingers. So let's go all out and make a change of our own lives, because really sitting at home and complaining won't really work. With those few words, I say I believe in the young people. The young people are the future. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, unity, collaboration, re tlwaele go compete. It's got number rich ants versus the ants that is nang selo. That's what I got from today, and I really appreciate gore go tlile batho ba leng gore ba go di NGO tse di rileng ba re no a re collaborate ne. So I hope as well gore le tlo share that information. Okay, my job is done. well wishes, and I hope to see you at the polls. Ke a leboha.
All right, no, thank you so much, Osdineo, for facilitating that session. Can we give her a round of applause? And then can we also give another round of applause for our other colleagues that were leading these engagements? And then to yourselves as good participants, can you give yourself a very, very, without youth, we don't exist. Because youth is the future for tomorrow. You are the future. So without you, I get lonale rebo magogo. So without you, you know, Bomagogo habatlo survive, but we still need you, Akira, as Bomagogo. Remember, Bomagogo can still empower youth, ne? So let's halibu want le Bomagogo bakai. Those are our elderlies, Akira. Let us do that also with respect. They've done so much for us. We may not be happy about everything, but let us learn from everything that they did to empower us, as we also want to get in and then occupy some of the spaces. So I'm now going to hand over to Mentombi Mekwe so that she can come and summarize the issues that were raised by yourselves as youth, and then give us hope in terms of where to from here. Thank you so much, Mentombi Mekwe. That name, that other name is no longer applicable today. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. I think most of the issues have been covered, but I just want to, at times, you know, it's so difficult. There's a young person who said we are sexually active, which is fine. Don't think that we are not sexually active ourselves. Angitas fanga my feelings. So uga posting and to we do have. But being sexually active doesn't mean that you must be reckless in life. I think that's what you try to cover. To say through your learning experience, you are doing things. Although we begin very mind to say, bo kijima na bo baby, and abo uzikhetela ukuthi ufuna baby onjani, you know. But that, my summary will be that you were short to say you are reckless in life, and through being reckless you learn. So let us not be reckless. While you are sexually active, you still need to condomize, and you can't be sleeping around. Whether you are a woman or you are a male, because there are consequences for being reckless. If you are a woman, you are sleeping around, you may end up being pregnant, and maybe the child, your child might not even have a father because you are reckless. Utlare how ya ko skete Martin ari yo benga si one. Uye usipho ati ha. Uye kubanibane ati nambengekho namakusimi ngiyi-1. Ne? And what is that going to tell your child when that child is born? And that's why many of us end up, you know, I'm saying us because I want to take ownership. That's why many of our young people end up either doing illegal abortion, because utsaba hore how we are clinicking within that period, but whatever they say you go clinicking, which they are not even supposed to say, by the way. All what they need to do is to assist you. But unfortunately, many of our young people buy a clinicking after 12 months, and after 12 months, there's nothing that you can do. Medically so. And when they do that, even the womb is not even ready to carry that child. Do you know that thing? You can have a womb as a woman. I once went to one of the clinics, Jablani Hospital in Soweto. And when they gave the stats, there were many young 12-year, 13 and 14-year-olds. Some of them might have fallen 3 or 4 times pregnant. And many of them, yes, I carry the womb. Siyazala singabo mama. And if you sleep with a man, the consequence will be you'll have a child. Some of them might have been raped, it's not their choice. Some of them, bebakhohliswa bobuthi ngama-sweet nangama KFC. Abone i-GTI yobhuti athi ngihamba nawe bhuti ne? Kanti uzifaka enkingeni. So we need to think about those things. Everything that you do has consequences. Okay, wayenza i-science esikolweni. But for every action, there's a reaction. So, ungabi reckless bese uyaposta ngobu reckless bakho ukuthi wena you are sexually active. Kuno mama okhulumile uthi rana i-NGO. I think uthe kodi blessing ne. I think training and more training, but also exposure to information is important. Any information won't come to you, you must go to the information. Can I see who doesn't have a phone here? Yeah. I'm sure us now on my phone, but guess now on my phone. How we use our phones nowadays. You know, I learned from Kenya. Go to Kenya. People there, they do something for themselves. Umthole umuntu uhleli mhlambe unamatswele ayi4 uhleli ngasestradini lawo matswele ayi4 yawathengisa. Omunye uyenza i-food garden. Ku-food garden yakhe kuphuma ispinach. Whether sincane leso spinach mara usendleleni uyathengisa. Thina the only challenge ukuthi our education isifundise ukuthi fanele sisebenzele omunye umuntu. It has never taught us to stand for ourselves. And I'm sure all these other programs that are there, they're teaching us to do something. Nimzulu Pututen, Ute, une degree. He is not employed. And the degree that he spoke about, I know Guti, in the economy, in the market economy, that is a scarce skill. But he is still unemployed. But Noguti Ashale, he's doing something for himself. I'm sure he's earning something. I didn't check with him. With whatever he is doing for himself. He is educated. The chances are, mhlambe, ama institutions that can employ him, mhlambe akho vacancy now. But the chances are, should there be a vacancy, he's standing a chance of being employed. Rather than us, esingananto, siya complainer all the time. And it is said, for a young person like the one that was speaking here, Oti, there's words that he used. Uti abantu abadala ba selfish. It's sad. You can't be talking about like that. Being an African, umntana umuntu omnyama unendlela engcono yokukhuluma. It's a pity because our politics has taught us ukuthi mawukhuluma kakhulu uthuka abantu irrelevant. We are outdated. Those politics don't fit into the society that we're trying to rebuild. Let me tell you, I'm the speaker today. I was once, and I was active in politics at the age of 16. And when I was about to, 4 days before I wrote my matric exams, I was expelled from school. 4 days before. Good question, why? I was fighting against apartheid and a better education. And 4 days before, because the then system did not allow young people to stand and fight for the rights of young people. Remember, it was those days when our elders were either in prison, others were forced into exile. But I said I was going to join in, fight for the rights of South Africans. At the age of 18, I was in prison myself. I was arrested. But angizange ngithi bangiphume prison ngithi although bekulo ngithi amandla ngiyaphambili. I was able to go back, reorganize myself, educate myself. I might have delayed. And let me assure you, I took 5 years to pass matric. Not because I wanted to. Every time I'm arrested, I can't write exams. I come out, I reorganize myself, I go back to school. Short before I write matric, back in prison. That was the life that I led. 17, 18, 19, 20, I'm sure I was about 23 when I first wrote my matric. A finishing school, by the way. Fortunately, I passed my matric. But it was only a year before organizations could be unbanned. And I tried to do electrical engineering. When the organizations were unbanned, I was recalled as an activist to go and work for my political party. I changed my career. But you can't tell me about electricity. I can even tell you, when ESCOM comes to my area with a challenge, when I speak to those technicians, I've done mathematics as well, maths lit. It was not even called maths lit. In Papa. Functional maths. It was called functional maths. It's the same thing. Functional maths and maths lit are the same thing. But I knew if functional maths or maths lit will not take me anywhere. Because and it's not difficult mathematics. Pythagoras theorem, no Bodmas, wakasap A. No mom. My mom is a professional nurse, is retired now. But what I learned is the Pythagoras theorem I answer before I answer in a sing. The Pythagoras theorem that I did, the Pythagoras theorem that is done by my son is the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. If formula doesn't change. If formula doesn't change. And I thank my Form 1 teacher, Form 1 grade, who said, I'm a facts on your fingertips. But wake me up now at 12 midnight, 16 times 16, I will tell you. And use a calculator. It's because I was taught to work hard, but also to share. I was never brilliant. But it's because they send some groups, share information, I was able to be where I am today. Many of us have our phones. Nathi abasibhokwana siyangena kuma Facebook, siyangena ku TikTok. Siyanibona. All what you do, niyahlebana. Nikhuluma kabi abanye abantwana. Niya-exposeana ngama weaknesses. But none of us are sending information ezonceda omunye umuntu. Thina we used to buy, besingana nemali, kwesikhathi omunye ukherile omunye akakheranga, sithenge i-newspaper. When we see something that will help us in class, besihlala uthole sihlala kushaya bo 10 ebusuku trying to discuss that issue, because we wanted, even when we boycotted classes, Tina will go to the hall, share information, send the show with why we boycott classes. Even right in prison, besifundisana. Even those that were younger than us, Siku state of emergency, besifundisa. The first group in 1985 that was released around September, Sabanikezi mandate, such as Yegelenti go and write matric. They went out. Mina in my group, 27 of those that wrote matric, Sise prison Tina, but what you call bachelors now. One of them is a medical doctor in my own community. And somebody obuye prison, obuya nami prison. Others are lawyers, others have done something. Abanye you can't blame them because they did not want, abanye decided with not tina sayega, sifuna ukuyema famine. But laba bathi sifuna ukuyema famine, yilaba namhlanje babadibana nawo, omunye mhlambe mncane nakuwe akubize sister, akubize old lady, akunandaba ne, afune 5 rand. Because they never reorganize themselves, and opportunities are there. Footing and right, whether you open a TV, instead of watching it Bold and the Beautiful, in the TV programs, there are many programs as this educator. But uma ublome khoneni and don't watch those things, or uthi uma uhlele ekhaya ubukela with the Bold and the Beautiful, uzaba sexually active, ukhohlwe izinto ezizotshintsha impilo yakho. So mina what I'm saying gini, just go back. Go at home alone. Rethink yourself. Discover who you are. At times, at times, it's because we have not discovered ourselves who we are. And our NGOs must help us to discover ourselves. Mhlambe thina during our courses days, we're lucky because they say attend our workshops and we discovered ourselves. When we are young, we are born ukuthi I've got amabele, nginamehlo, but awazi kahle ukuthi lento zenzani. But uyazi ukuthi unazo. Abanye bethu, especially neMajita, uthi uyadlula ubone utshani uyachama. Ne? That is being reckless. Because remember lo tshani bu green ne, but kusinikeza oxygen because bu develop bunelona ngithi photosynthesis. But siyakhamela and mawukhama ukubona ukuthi uzothola oxygen. That is being reckless. There are many things that, so let us go discover ourselves. Okunye nokunye, yabona uma ngakazi discover, uzo complain, but you'll never reach your destination. Honorable Mpapa, ngiyavuma ngi-old lady manje ngisigogwana. But angiyindawo ngisaye eParliament. You know why? It's because nina anifuni eParliament. Anifuni because you don't want to register to vote. You don't want to vote. Nizaloke nivotela thina esimile elayinini sinivanele indlela. IEC, and I'm sure even those vacancies sisesekhona, if I can Google now, but you'll never get umsebenzi we-IEC ungekho registered. Why fanele bakuqashe kanti awufuni uyovotisa bani wena ungafuni ukuvotisa? And let me assure you, when you do even those programs, by training IEC, you become a better person because uzoba nesinye skill. And asikho skill esidlula as you can have many degrees, ube na whatever, but if you don't have inter-relational skills, we are just doomed. If you pick up sawubona emntwini, if you can't even say ngiyacela, if you can't even say I'm sorry when you have hurt somebody, you always want to argue, angangijwayeli kabi lo muntu lo, angangijwayeli. Uyakutshela umuntu ukuthi ngiyathela ngizwe ubuhlungu, instead of saying simple thing, I am sorry. Ufuna ukuyijustify, you'll never be a better person. Ayikho organization efuna umuntu ozofika aqhome. I think you spoke about that. Uqhome nge-degree but you don't have simple human relation skills. I nama ngukufune ofisini lami lase-legislature. Angukufuni. Yabona mina how I got my first employment. Lo muntu owangiqasha wathi, wasibheka sibaningi sasihlele eholweni so. Wathi ngicela wena, ngicela ukukhuluma nawe. Ngathi uma ngisondela, wanginikeza wathi uhlala kuphi ngamtshela. Wathi malini ukuza eJoburg ngamtshela ngeTaxi. Wathi ngicela Monday uze ngokunika umsebenzi. That's how I got a job. Mina ngizange apply. My first job. Ngikala ukukhola ngahola ne-2000 ngisaba nokuyispenda. So young people, mina I want to say the future is now, it's not even tomorrow for these young people. But be the future that you want to see. But uma umide, yabona kunalesonto be-Christian as well, ngiyakhonza. Ngiyaba esontweni lami sengabatshela ngathi leculo lithi ndimile apha nisalifuni. Because abantu bacabanga ukuthi uma ndimile apha eJordan, abanye bayawela. Why ungaweli wena? Umeleni? Siyakuma Good Friday. Siyakuma Good Friday. Ubatshele esontweni lakho bangasamcula undimile. Undimile uyasibambezela. Siyaphambili. All what we need to do, just tell yourself ukuthi namhlanje i-19 March. Come 19 April, you should have moved from here to here. When you look back and say from 19 to 19, this is what I've achieved for myself, including going back sitting alone and focusing, looking at yourself, ukuthi what is it that you are capable of? Ukuzothukana, ngicabanga ukuthi ukuthukana it's right. It's not. Ukuphoxa omunye umuntu, it's not a cool thing. But respect, and I mean, I always say, if you can't respect, if you disrespect another person, it starts with you. You don't respect yourself. You know, mina ngangu speaker eGuruleni. Ngama school holidays, my son, who was about 10, because behanga na muntu osala ngihambe naye emsebenzini, conduct a council sitting. Uma ngithethisa abantu, when you go back home, athi, yabona mama, le nto yokuthethisa abantu angiyithandi. So I discovered to say, hey, marumtana magayithandi, and it means whatever I do, I hurt my child. How many of us are hurt by the conduct of my parents with? And I'm happy because I had this son who taught me something in life. And I changed. Angisathethi son. Noma ngilapha legislature bayenza zonke lama political parties, I just look at the rule book and say order member, rule so and so say this. That's why they respect me. Neighbor, yes. Yes, but your honorable speaker, I say order, rule so and so. I don't fight. And I had to undergo a course again, emotional intelligence, just to deal with my emotions. Because ukshauta, ungwana mang, utswako kai, ubata uyako kai kalirata, you will never get anywhere. Siyabong.
All right, no, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for summarizing, doing the reflection in terms of all the issues that were raised today. So, my job is going to be an easy one. We would have initially thought that the program would end by 1 o'clock, and it's almost 2 o'clock. And I know that we would have provided you with water so that you don't get dehydrated as we engage. So I'm just going to do the easy work, which is just to acknowledge and appreciate all our participants that managed to come and join us for this youth seminar. And then I'm also going to send a vote of thanks to Councillor Thandi Khoza for welcoming us into your area so that we feel safe as the legislature together with our stakeholders here. And then also to appreciate Madam Speaker, Madam Mekwe, for as well as our Deputy Chairperson of Committees, Honorable Mpapa Kanyane, for availing themselves for the entire day to clear their diaries, to come and be with us, together with our councillor as well. We know that they are always busy, but they felt that for today, you are the most critical and important stakeholder, and that they needed to set time aside to come and engage with you, to listen to you. And then the next appreciation goes to the Office of the Mayor, for the Mayor to release you to come and be with us today, to listen to the issues that are raised by youth, and with the hope that those issues would then be reported back to the Mayor in terms of issues that you could pick up from the conversations that we had. And then the IEC, without you, as the legislature, we are unable to run our civic education program without IEC. You've always been there with us, and let us continue with the collaboration to ensure that we educate the people of Gauteng, not only the youth, about the civic responsibility, the importance of citizen responsibility, and the benefits that comes with just being informed about your rights so that you are able to act responsibly.
And then let me also thank the team from Kwanele, where they would have also shared from their side in terms of the program that they are running. And I think they are running, they're not getting any cent. It's an NGO, an activity which they program running that as youth, and not only youth, all of us can benefit from, because we do know that the issue of gender-based violence was also declared by our president as a pandemic within South Africa, whereby all of us, we need to stand together to ensure that we fight against gender-based violence. And with you youth, you are there all over your society. You see some of those cases happening. And it is also your responsibility to step in and assist those that are not in power to assist themselves. And my beautiful audience, the GPL team, thank you so much for organizing this event today. That will be the end of today's session. So thank you so much, and let us be responsible citizens as we live here today. Let's go back to our homes, and then let us continue to spread the message. Knowledge, as you gain knowledge, it is always important to share with others. So whatever that you may have learned during today's session, please go back, don't be selfish, empower others, because the more empowered we are, we will then be in a position to build the nation. Thank you so much. This is the end of today's program. We will see each other during the Youth Sector Parliament, where we will still indicate when it will take place, but it will be in the new financial year. We will communicate with yourself as the youth, and we know that there will be at least representation from the Sedibeng area that will come and represent youth during that Youth Sector Parliament. Thank you so much. With that, Ntate Papa, I hope I would have covered yourself very wisely. And let me also thank myself. Do I not deserve a hand of applause? All right. Now, okay, we are done with the program, and then we'll just allow our presiding officers together with our esteemed guest this side to just go this way. And then Mayor Lindichia will then talk to all of us in terms of how we will move forward from here. Thank you so much for being good audience and for participating. Thank you. Drive safe home.
Timela. Lega. I think it's a camera. Now I will speak behind the camera. We're going to sit down, all of us there. Remain seated, okay? And then we will save you from where you are. Okay? Ne? Please, don't move. We're going to come to you. So the team will be coming this way to assist everyone. Ne? Okay, thank you very much.
Hello. Oh, yes. Ising Hampe. Hello. Kopalo Khutlein, please. Please, thank you. Okay. Can you please sit down, and then you receive your food when you're sitting down? Please. We're trying to avoid the chaos that it may cause outside. Please, can you please be patient? Because we're thinking of proceeding roll by roll. You take your food and then you leave. Which one is proper? Rolls by rolls, you take your food and then you go outside. Bajwe. Bakalo komrao babatla